Hey guys, Marshall here with another episode. Today I wanted to talk about keeping motivation, and even this morning I was thinking about if I should do a video today. Contemplating it, and it was really kind of a silly conversation I had with myself in my head, and even yesterday whenever I did a video, I was like thinking about you know oh, I don't feel like reattaching my tripod to my a different attachment and doing this. It was such a silly little thing I was thinking about, and I just did it anyway. And uh, you get into these situations where you get really comfortable in not doing anything, and then you start doing something new, and maybe you don't even feel like doing it really, whether it's exercise, no matter what it is. And this was something silly like, oh, I don't feel like doing that, and so I did it anyway. And it's really important to sort of break out of these comfort zones in a way, because uh, you can end up in these comfort zones for so long. Kind of actually even reminds me of how you go through these comfortable um, paths in your life, and one of them was, for me, I felt like one of my girlfriends, I was very comfortable with the situation I was in. I didn't have to, go out and try to win people over or do anything different. And she was pretty accept she was accepting towards the person I was, I guess, in a way, um, for the most part. But uh, that doesn't necessarily make a good relationship. If you're just looking for that person that's available and to give you comfort, it doesn't exactly give you, a great relationship or friendship. If you're just kind of accepting everything that comes your way, um, it's a very kind of beta mentality, even in a way, to just be comfortable, not exercising, not trying to create new networks in business or socializing. It's a pretty beta attitude, and you just kind of you need to kind of know your mission also. And when you think about these, whenever you start paying attention to how you're comfortable with things, and you start changing your mission to sort of gear it towards your values in a way, um, where it is you want to be. I mean, we talked about belief system. Thinking about the things that you value, incorporating that into your belief systems, and sort of establishing where you want to be and how you can get there on a daily basis is really important. Um, and you know, it's motivation. It can be difficult at times, and you can feel kind of helpless in a way. It's kind of ridiculous in a way how you can sometimes feel like your past has meant nothing. In a way, you can think like it's just a horrible way to think. Um, what has happened in the past, and you haven't made as much progress as you wanted to make. Uh, but really, what the way to think about that is there's so many steps on the way that you've made, and so many years of lessons that you've made. You just aren't able to see that in the moment, really. There's so many lessons that I learned in the past 10 years that I don't really think about on a regular basis. But the more I start trying, the more I start thinking about this, and the more I start tapping into these lessons, and motivating myself and understanding the right way to think, it's really rewarding in a way. And it's almost like, these tools that you have, you're just kind of recalibrating the tools. You're kind of reawakening these tools that you have and skills that you have that may have been dormant for a while, but they can be used no matter if it was 10 years ago or 20 years ago, you have these tools. You just kind of have to wake them up a bit. And it's also being true to yourself. When we talked about that last episode, it's almost authentic in a way to understand the tools you have and be comfortable with that, and be comfortable with the past, and be comfortable that you've learned lessons and have acquired tools and skills and values, and that's really important to sort of help build your confidence and motivation to do things. And there's just like a compounding effect to that, and momentum, uh, and that willing to just kind of go for it, whatever it is that you want. There's momentum that needs to be created in a way, and I'm sort of tapping into the momentum recently, and I want to do, like, I'm trying to do a video every day in a way, and cover all kinds of different things. Um, and also just kind of, it seems ridiculous, but just these simple like principles are very kind of an alpha mentality of really just kind of creating the momentum and not steering off of your path for something silly, or you have that goal, that belief, you want to go for that and stay on that path. It's very alpha. It's very alpha like. And so, as you can see, there's kind of like a little beta versus alpha kind of mindset in this video. And I really want I want your balls to grow balls themselves. And that would actually total 6 balls if you want to break it down. But that's just something funny I was thinking about, having your maybe you can think about that to yourself. This is the type of day where my attitude's multiplying, my motivation's multiplying, everything's kind of in momentum. And it's days like that where you go and do things that are a little bit different than the norm. When you're kind of just really feeling the vibration in yourself, to do things that you're uncomfortable, but you just do it anyway. You're very comfortable in your with what you're doing, authentic. And then if you create such a strong enough energy in you, you run into that person that gives you a hard time, and it really just doesn't even matter. And that was sort of, those are some little lessons that I wasn't even thinking about at the time when I was having more success socializing. And it wasn't even just like, it wasn't necessarily going home with anybody. It was like a magnet, like people were kind of drawn to me in a way just because of the fact that I don't know, there's like an aura about you in a way where you're just, you could almost see it in your face and everything. It's a detachment from looking for reaction and stuff like that. It's like whenever people are trying to test you, you really just don't care. It's almost like socializing is just like a silly game to you, and you're willing to compete with everybody, and you know that it just doesn't even really matter that much in a way. And even though I at times, I was kind of using alcohol as a crutch in a way, but there was a lot of times whenever I wasn't, and I was just socializing. I just didn't care that, and it was just like an authenticity that I found in myself again, which was really, really important to have. I wasn't even thinking about it, and what has happened recently is I've thought about this more because other people have other sort of influencers have sort of showed me what exactly I was doing, even though I wasn't thinking about what I was doing. um, which is a great. You shouldn't have to be thinking about being authentic. You know, it should be pretty simple. And you know, maybe if you're not really comfortable with, you really just have to be comfortable with who you are, authentic. Whatever it is, own it. But if you are uncomfortable with certain things, maybe you need to improve who you are. Hopefully, you're a young person, and maybe improvements will help you feel comfortable with who you are authentically, and that's a great way to kind of create some leverage in your life. You know, with improving that energy within you, that aura about you, it can do really wonders about where life can take you in business, socializing, friendships, relationships. Always being willing to be comfortable with who you actually are, looking back at your values, beliefs, and going out there and doing whatever it is you're trying to do is, to me, seems like the most attractive thing out there. Really, it's, you know, you can create these fake fronts in a way I have in the past, um, of making it seem like I was better than other people in a way. I was kind of moving in a way, you know, like it wasn't attitude. It might have been perceived as I was, you know, thinking I was better, but I wasn't always. I was getting towards a point where I was authentic all the time, but I wasn't always like that. You know, sometimes there was times whenever I wasn't as social or whatever in social circles. I wasn't really, you know, blossoming in a specific social circle. So whenever it was, or whenever I went out or whatever, it's didn't exactly seem congruent. They were like, oh, he's being different then, he's being different that, you know, it wasn't the same person all the time. And that's really what, you know, your end goal should be, is whatever social circle, you're the same person. Whenever you go out, you're the same person. And no matter what someone says to you, it just doesn't even really matter that much, because you know what sort of mission you're on. And so that's what I want you to think about, and start really going after whatever goals. Start getting that alpha attitude. And yeah, that's pretty much it here for today. Thank you so much for watching. Please subscribe, drop a like, let me know what you think, and if there's anything else you'd like for me to talk about. All right, thank you so much, guys. Take care.